All right, friends. Welcome to a simple space. There is no teacher-student relationship here, so that's good news. There's nothing for you to get, nowhere for you to go, and no one to get it. So in short, this is it. This is the mystery appearing as everything. This is what you want to call God, the beloved, or totality appearing finite for no reason. This is an appearance, like a dream experience you may have at night. It seems to be real. It seems to be moving, coming and going, highs and lows, breakdowns and breakthroughs. But it's an appearance that is not real. It only seems to be. So what we're speaking about is a paradox. It will never be understood by what you call your mind. You don't have a mind. It doesn't actually exist. But within the story or within the dream of seeking, you have a mind. You have a lot of things in the dream. The dream is I own this, ownership. I know, concreteness. But what we're pointing to here is that there's no one in that body. It's empty. It's unknowable. It's a mystery, appearing as what you call your body or your mind or your life. But we actually don't own a life. We are simply life. There is no hierarchy in this message. No one here is greater than a blade of grass. It is equal. But within the dream of human, there is the illusory experience of self-consciousness. Self-consciousness is the ability to fractalize off and look at oneself with a scalpel and a magnifying glass. When what we call awakening or liberation, that collapses. There is no longer unworthiness, doubt, insecurity, or fear of death. Those things fall away because they are belief systems. They are rooted in the dream of separation. They are stories, they are fables of what you think you know. So in short, this is not about knowing more. There's nothing wrong with knowing. That's the mystery appearing as knowing. So there's nothing wrong with knowledge. But you can't know nothing. You can't know a mystery. Can't know this. Because to know it, you would have to step outside of it as a fractalized dream experience of duality to look at it and then know it. So this cannot be known. It's a seamlessness. We're not talking about detachment. We're not talking about renunciation. We're not talking about giving things up or changing anything. That's the whole fallacy of the person. What needs to change, Anna? How do I get to where you are? How do I get closer to this? And it's already your breath. It's already what's looking through your eyes. So how do you get closer? Yeah, you don't. So I'd like to say you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because there's no you who can bring forth enlightenment. There is only that. There is only awakening. There is only liberation appearing as a you seeking it. Paradox. And so today we can discuss this concept or this word we call non-duality, which is really just pointing to everything already, to this. So please feel free to ask any questions or express anything that is naturally arising for you. And we will intuitively ping pong off of one another. So it seems, okay?
Hello, Anna.
Hello.
This is Barkley.
Hi, Barkley.
from Mexico.
Hi, welcome, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
You touched on a point, and I had wanted to explore it with you somewhat, in fact, since last week. And it's a bit of a philosophical point, but it's also what you just said regarding knowing and not knowing.
Mhm.
And, you know, in life, we strive to study and know a whole lot of things, and whether it be science or, you know, history or archaeology or so many things, and in many ways it gives us pleasure, and it's fun, and it's interesting, and it keeps us occupied and exploring through imagination, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the knowing and not knowing, because and yes, there's a duality obviously there, but in fact there is no duality, because it's all not knowing.
Yeah.
Which is what you just said. And what hit me, what you just said previously, was that to know, you have to step out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be able to witness the knowing, but you're stepping out. And so that to me is very interesting. And I just wanted to hear a little bit more from you regarding that. And just prior to discussing it a bit more, it's also, you know, the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge divides.
Yeah.
Wisdom unites. It brings together. It's humble, it's receptive, it doesn't assume anything. And so I think that there's a corollary between knowing and not knowing, knowledge and wisdom. So I was wondering if you might just touch upon this. I know it's a bit of a philosophical question, but it's also, you know, quite real for most of us.
Yeah, beautiful. So what we're speaking about is formlessness simultaneously. So there's nothing wrong with knowing, but we can't know this white light. Like, I like to use it in a metaphor, is like the white light hits a prism, creates a rainbow, seems to create the effect of a rainbow, right? Non-duality is pointing to the white light. Okay, so in the spectrum of knowing, which is the hues of the rainbow, we can seem to know things, which would be your states of consciousness, right? That's still the dream. So I can get higher consciousness, lower consciousness, and that's in the realm of knowing, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. That's like flickering through the hues, different colors, different textures and flavors and sensations. However, the green, the red, the violet, or the indigo, whatever color, cannot look back at the white light and know that.
Yes.
It's absolutely impossible. So in other terms, what we're saying, the rainbow is the appearance of mind, of individuality, the dream of I am becoming. You can never become the white light because it already is the white light. It's only an illusory effect of hitting the raindrop or the prism that seems to create the hues of a me and a you. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just child's play. So knowing appears, like we can talk about knowing how to make some awesome brownies, knowing how to drive to the grocery store. That seems to arise in this. But that the color red will never know the white light. It already is it.
I like
it's invisible.
Your example. I think that's brilliant. Excellent. I understand exactly what you're saying. You're absolutely correct. I like your example very much. And it's just something that's, you know, part of being human, and learning to differentiate and to realize what we are and what we're not, and to be okay with it.
Well, and all we can do is say what we aren't, so to speak,
Yes.
And you're left with just what
right.
is, which is unknowable. You see?
Right.
Yeah.
Very
so
good.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and great to say hello.
Great to say hello to you too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah. So Morris is expressing, if we have no choice, then we have no choice to awaken or not. What book we read or what videos we watch, even the Zoom. We had no choice. Our conversation is a monologue of God to itself. 100% absolutely correct. Because what we call you, me, mine, time is thought forms. It's just a train of thought that seems to be identified with belief systems, imaginations. That's what we're calling the person. Otherwise, there's just a body that's appearing. Just like trees appear, wind appears, voice appears. It's all an appearance. But in the dream of separation, we go, my body, my thoughts, my emotions, my life, my tree, my shirt. There's a very intense closeness, but it's not a closeness in the sense of like unicity. It's a closeness as fear and separation and contraction. And so nothing changes, because the fallacy is that there's going to be this massive change when this is seen through, so to speak. It's not an event. It's not a happening. It doesn't come tomorrow because time is an illusion. It's already this. There's no ego to drop. There's no meat to drop, because everything is already the appearance of, let's say, the white light creating the hues of the rainbow, or God appearing as a human. So to deny mind, to deny time, to deny Quark's personalities or the flavor of the character is a denial of the absolute. Because there is definitely still going to be a character that appears. You will not get rid of the character. Actually, the character becomes more online, so to speak, and more alive and more vibrant, because there's not some belief system, so to speak, trying to dissect and scalpel everything away. So it looks like this beautiful, shiny statue of what we call enlightenment. All of that's a fantasy, which keeps one seemingly chasing their own tail, trying to reach a state. This is not a state. States come and go. And so there will be feelings, there will be sensations. Pain arises. Choice seems to arise. The show goes on, is like I like to say, the show must go on. It doesn't stop. It's just seen as an appearance by no one. As long as there is someone there, this is concrete and real. As long as there is someone there with a backpack of beliefs and time, this is only real, which makes yesterday real. Tomorrow's now real. And now I'm confined in my coffin and I'm claustrophobic and suffocating. The coffin's not real. The prison is not real. The ideas you've been told of yourself are not real. You're not an idea. You're beyond these ideas of male and female and your name tag and your job occupation. That's drag. It's all role play. And it's very easy, very convincing in the story that you are your name tag. You are the costume, so to speak. And so that's why there's so much importance on the worldly affairs, because mind is world, world is mind, AKA me. So this is the end of that preservation. The person is like trying to be a mummy, keep itself alive, keep its beliefs alive, what it thinks is real alive. If anything, what we're calling awakening is a loss. It's the dropping, so to speak, of the tension of I know this isn't enlightenment. I know this isn't heaven. I know that I'm broken. I know that I'm unworthy. All of that stops. And you're left with just what is, which could be uncomfortableness, tiredness, lots of energy, folding laundry, grocery shopping. Very simple, very ordinary, but now it's all the beloved. And it's not like a drug experience, because I get a lot of beings coming in and they're really hyped up on their LSD experiences thinking that's it. It's not. If you want a drug experience, do drugs. We're speaking about just a natural high, so to speak, in the sense you're not tripping out, your face isn't melting, you're not blending with chairs. That would be an experience. Okay. Anything can arise in liberation. That's already the case. Sadness, frustration, hunger, needing to use the restroom, lust, romance. All of that is it. You see, but the person lives in an idea of a fantasy. Oh, unconditional love wouldn't do that. Wouldn't appear as that. Yeah. That's why it's called unconditional. It has no conditions. It has no ties. Sorry, Just Be, what do you mean by and indeed those experiences too, right? You could say the person lives in experience. When there's no longer the sense of separation, there's not an experiencer. Oh, yes, yes. Even the seeking of trying to find this through drugs is it too. Seeking is still the seer, appearing as seeking. It's just seeking never leads to this. It's kind of like a rodeo show up in the mind that just farts out and it's just over. It doesn't lead to this because it's illusory. It's illusory. The mind's illusory. It doesn't exist. Time's illusory. It doesn't exist. So how can you get closer to this if this is already it? And it's usually because there's an idea or belief system or story about how this should look, which is the whole description of the person. It doesn't look the way I want it to be. This needs to change. Where's my shit? Why don't I have more money in my bank account if I'm enlightened? All of this nonsense. It has nothing to do with what you're calling your life again. That'd be circumstantial. That would be objectifying yourself, so to speak.
Hey, Anna, it's Katie.
Hey, Katie. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
This is not an experience.
No.
This...
That means it'd be recorded. There'd be footsteps.
And that's reducing it. That's putting limits on it.
Well, there's either experience or not, but there can't help but be an experience if there's someone there having the two-ness, because it's my experience. This is happening to me. And then, it's kind of like the person is like the sun of a solar system. They really feel like everything is revolving around them and everything is saying something about them, right? So, like the whole appearance it's about me, because I'm the centerpiece. When there's no centerpiece, it doesn't say anything about you at all. There's no longer definitions. There's no longer labels. There's no longer, oh my gosh, the clerk at the gas station was really cranky. It must say something about me. What did I do wrong? All of that kind of codependency falls, and the a-hole the clerk is equal to Mother Teresa, so to speak, in the sense that it's not saying anything about you. It's just phenomena arising, like the breeze. My God, imagine if we were like, God, the breeze is out to get me, man. What I do is my vibration's so low. Yeah.
Because it's not about you, because there is no you.
Correct. But if there isn't an experience of you, then that's when we have the whole, like the law of attraction, modality, shadow work, inner child. I'm on a path to get somewhere. Ascension, all these different types of things appear. The hierarchies arise when there's a me.
And that's just part of the story.
And that too is unconditional love. So there is no one here that is trying to change that experience or saying that it's wrong, because that too is the absolute. It just obviously feels uncomfortable and limited because one's chasing their own tail. And so all this can do is hold a mirror. You see? But there's no one here who wants to change anyone's experience. because it's seen it's already whole, it's already full, it's fulfilled.
Mhm.
This is fulfilled. Never fulfilled if there is a dreamer, so to speak, or a person. It's never fulfilled. It's always like, okay, now what? Now what's next? Now what can I do to feel worthy enough to receive this? Again, this is causeless. It can't be caused because it's timeless. Nothing in time brings you closer to this.
Because there is
Because,
no time, because that's just an illusion too.
well, timelessness is appearing as time. It's an appearance. But it's like trying to find oneself through a mirage. Oh, that's who I am. Harbor, hold it, hoard it, hoard it, hoard it. Trying to grasp and hold on to the wisps of air, not recognizing you are the air itself, appearing as flesh and bones. And that's why I say this is direct. Like, this is a direct message of non-duality. Direct, direct, direct. And it's either heard or it's not. You see? Because the mind will hear and go, but it's just there because beingness is here. It's this already. Already.
And nothing is needed.
No, not for this. But again, like, you may need a drink of water. That may arise. You may need to go use the restroom, Katie. That may arise. No one's gonna be like, oh my God, if I was enlightened, I would not need to use the restroom. Just hold it in, hold it. No. Chop wood, carry water. It's very natural. All of it's very natural and spontaneous. And that's, again, like I've said, that's already the case. The dream or the illusion is the labeling, the commenting on what is going on. It's just like the life coach in the head constantly talking about what is going on. Oh, do this. No, you should be going to do that. Oh, that's what this means. That's what that means. That just stops or quiets and softens and may even arise, but no one's interested in it.
And even that's just arising. There's no control of that.
No. Oh, absolutely not. Just like you're not in control of the wind right now or your hormones.
Or my heart beating.
Or your heart beating. It's just spontaneously arising. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's
one of the sticky things for me. It's losing its stickiness, but it's the no free will and choice, because the illusory mind's coming in going, oh, I do have control. And
totally.
It's like a cosmic joke.
Mm-hmm. That's all it can say. That's all I can say, Katie. That's all I can say. It knows it's powerless. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's loud. That's why it's loud. Have you ever seen those beings that really want to get their message across? They're really loud and arrogant, and they sound like ignorant, and it's like the heart or beingness doesn't need to do that. Why would it? It's confident. It has no doubt. It's not insecure. So why would it need to raise its voice like that and be like, bark orders and tell you to do this to be worthy? That's the illusion. And that's what Jesus was talking about, Satan. It's just mind stuff. Temptations, all that stuff we hear in the biblical scriptures. Yeah. It's just the appearance of what we call mind or personal beliefs. That's it. You should be doing that. Says who? Ghost. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it seems like in the story of time, if you've had a lifespan of 40, 50, 60 years of being told you're unworthy, right? That record may seem to be really strong, but it can in an instant, because it's not real and the past isn't. And you're left with beingness. Beingness is what's looking through the eyes. It's that the sensation, the feeling, the visceralness in the body, the energy. The experience of separation is the quick to label it. The quick to go into imagination. It's never here.
And that's all just conditioned. It's not real. It's just conditioned. Mm-hmm.
Which is no one's fault. I mean, truly, no one's to blame. Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
It's just what is. It's just what is.
And we don't have to like that either. Like, definitely, this is not saying like, oh my God, head over heels for what is. There's preferences. Like I've always shared, there's preferences. There can be disagreements. So I say there's no change, but there can be a transformation. Okay. Mm-hmm. So everything seems to appear to go on the same. The show must go on. Rearing babies, making sandwiches, folding laundry, all of that appears. But what stops arising is what we would call the neuroses, the obsessive compulsiveness, needing to get away from what is to find something better. Should I be doing more? All of the stories of unworthiness and guilt and God and aliens, all of the conspiracies are gone. Conspiracies are only for the mind and the person.
Mhm.
What's right and what's wrong. It's only for the contraction of self. There's nothing wrong with that, but all of those big questions of like, stuff with COVID or the world, they're all coming from the sense of I have free will and choice. And this is super, 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 super important. And all of that tension of importance relaxes. Nothing is important. And this does not mean, because then we can hear within the mind, we'll go, well, I'll just sit on my couch and eat potato chips all day. No, it's chop wood, carry water. If there is a parent law student about to take the board, that may still arise. Now there won't be as much tension or stress around the board because there isn't someone there having a fractalized experience of, oh my God, this is going to bring me worth and fame and success. And this is so meaningful. All of that's gone. And so now the lawyer who's training to be a lawyer to take the test for the board can actually seem to do better because there's not the beliefs and the smallness and the insecurities of unworthiness of, oh my God, this is everything. This is defining me. It all goes. Mm-hmm. But they're still being a lawyer. Yeah, it's just like there's not the with it. Incognito. Yeah.
It's like there's this innate, and words are going to limit it, but there's this innate knowing that we're being cared for. I mean, we are life living. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like you say, life just wants to be you, me.
Yeah.
It's whatever is arising in this apparent space is exactly how life wants to be in this apparent moment.
Right, which could be the appearance of an illness or the appearance of a breakup or the appearance of just taking a bite of a moldy cookie. Ew.
Yes.
Yeah, all of those things are
or the death of a loved one.
Or the apparent death of a loved one. Absolutely. And then there would be a rising of mourning in the body. But I will say the belief in death actually does dissolve, but there can still be the mourning of the character. Totally. Yeah. It's just an energetic release, so to speak. So there can still be the mourning and all of that, but there's no one who truly believes in birth and death.
Because that's just a story too.
Well, death's a concept. Death believes someone was actually born and dies. I mean, obviously, like in movies we watch and stories we read, characters seem to die, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a story. But even in those books we read, we can cry. My gosh, in TV shows we can cry, in movies we can cry through the story. So stories are very entertaining. And we're not saying that there won't be any kind of like emotional response that's elicited, but there's no one believing that there's true death. Because death for the person is very dark and morbid and ew and gross, but this is already death and life simultaneously. And to truly live, you must die, so to speak. And the only thing that can die are beliefs and ideas. And what's left can't be defined.
Perfect.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.
Hi, Anna. It's
Sarah.
It's Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Good to see you. You look beautiful. Your surroundings are beautiful as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm in Central New York, so it's a great time of year here.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
I was wondering in the I can feel all of what you're saying, and I'm not sure I can, that would translate into expressing it to somebody else in words, but I do resonate with it. But I was wondering in the chop wood, carry water appearance of Anna or Sarah, how if a decision needs to be made, an apparent decision that doesn't seem to just flow easily. I understand that the struggle of the decision is the beloved expressing in that way, and I'm okay with that. but ultimately a decision needs to be made in form. And so when would you, do you sit with that? Do you just let it happen? How do you work with that as Anna?
Well, that has fallen away. When there was still a belief in free will and choice here, there was lots of struggle with choices. What's the highest choice? What's going to align me with this? Or what's the best? There's all these beliefs, all of these rule books that came into play. There's no rule books or beliefs that arise. It's just, someone asks a question, or, hey, would you like to take this opportunity? Or you want to do this or that? And there may be hey, let me get back to you. You know what I mean? But no one's choosing that. There's not the tension and stress like there was in that the dream of separation and seeking, but there can be a lull and okay, let me get back to you. But there's not that stress and tension. Yeah.
And I get that. And that's where I've been. So I just was wondering if how you did that, because I'm just allowing it to show up, but
I gotta say, I don't. And you don't either. Again, already choices are seemingly being made. The dream is I'm choosing it, and then the stress and the guilt and the shame of did I make the right choice comes in. That's what we're calling the illusion. That's what falls, and then there's just yes, let's go to pizza. No, let's not. But there's no longer ooh, did I make the right choice? Was that good? That falls away. Yeah.
Yep. I get that. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Take care.
You too.
Excuse me. All right. Mike is asking, is there not even the seeming need to trust? I suppose not, as that would indicate an experience to trust in. Yeah. It's like having faith or hope, which is what religion and spirituality is built on. Have faith, have hope, have trust. You could just say it's a natural trust, but no one's trusting. Okay. But let's use an example. You go to visit the Grand Canyon. Yeah. The character walks close to the edge and there's a fear because looking down at that depth, fear arises in the body from a direct response, so to speak. Okay. Now that doesn't need someone goes, I need to trust, I need to trust, I need to trust. Okay, just trust. It's just, oh, fear just arose for no one. It arises, doesn't hold on to anything. The trust and the faith and the hope is a story wrapped around all of that. All of the things you call your life are over in an instant. Everything you thought was important, over in an instant. But the show must go on for no one. And again, that's already the case. It's a paradox. All right, so here's another expression by Joan here. One of my recent seeking patterns is healing the nervous system, because they say all trauma is stored in that. It seems to be a hype now, and it seems to pop up everywhere around me. We were just talking about this, Joan, before we actually hit record today. Over the last months, that was one of my last tries to fix myself after years of trying to heal me. When a little while back, I suddenly realized all along I have been here. I didn't fix anything. I didn't succeed in any of it. I'm the exact same still. I was always here. Nothing worked or works still. Nothing will ever work. And I suddenly see how I have been walking in circles trying to fix me. Haha, my God. Yeah. That's why I say you end up right where you are, but without the need to fix anything anymore. Yeah, it's just a rodeo. And they sell though, like you're storing energy in your body cells. You have a broken inner child, that sells. Right? Because the whole fallacy of separation and the person is, if I do something, I'll get a reward. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this is the one reward that you do not have to earn through effort. It's effortless. It appears as effort. It's already your breath. It's what's looking through your eyes. And religions don't want you to know this, and spirituality doesn't want you to know this. It's just part of the damn game, but this is it. You are the power. You are the light. You are the goodness and the ecstasy and the bliss and everything you're trying to find outside of yourselves through objects. This is high on yourself, high on life itself. Because the dream is, its fuel is codependency. And that doesn't mean that there's not apparent relationships or communities that arise, obviously. It's just saying there's no longer a need for it. You're okay without it. Your worth isn't based on anything anymore. So now you're no longer just human, you're human being. You see? Again, that's always been the case. The ideas just seem to fall away. And so here we are in the garden we never left. Only in imagination. We're all naked, we're all innocent, no one's clothed, just seems that way. Radiance. And in what response do you perceive the violence and abuses in the human experience? It's an appearance, it's not real. It's just like a dream at night. Your world is your mind is your world. They are one. So when you dissolve, so does that question. So does that concern. So does that importance. You see? Because the person is all about justice. It doesn't care about just this. So I don't have thoughts about that. And guys, this doesn't mean it's like someone's sectored off from the world in a cave, naked with no TV. Like, no, this watches the news. This will talk about politics. It's just the importance and the meaning and the let's fight over this it's all gone, because it's all play. It's all child's play. It's all phenomenon of consciousness, which is an illusion. Seems to be just like the stories, just like Netflix, just like movies. Seems to be, there can be lots of intensity, lots of heat. It's a story, an appearance, but it's all the beloved appearing as abuse, as suffering. But again, there might be the idea that unconditional love should not appear as suffering. And there's a direct response to that. So Radiance is asking, what is your response when one's suffering enters your space and is very needy in their suffering experience? See, we're going into imagination now of what could be. I can't say what's going to occur. I can't until it's arising. Otherwise, we're in imagination of what could be in a future time that is not arising now. Only the mind is interested in those things, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not interested in future speculation, my love. But I got to say, there's an animal suffering or a person suffering, there would be a natural response of compassion, most likely. But again, I can't say 100% until it's arising right here.
Hi, Anna.
Hi.
It's Rasha. How are
Hey,
you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so lovely to see you. Could you briefly talk about, when we say, so if there is no me, then there is no death. Can you just briefly talk about that? And I know that my mind is trying to understand that, but I just love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, totally. So we can look at me as abbreviation for mind energy. Okay, so it's just always trying to figure everything out. And so can you ask your question again? It's already gone. I'm being serious. Ask it again. Ask it one more time. It's back to the ethers.
You got it. So if there is no me, and like you mentioned earlier, then there is no birth and there is no death. But somehow my mind is still trying to conceptualize that.
Okay. Yes. So the mind energy lives in time. Okay. So mind and time are one, and so is me. Okay. And so it truly believes that it was born, right? Because we have birth certificates and mommy and daddy told me this and all of that stuff. And then there's death, right? We see tombstones. We go to the grave. I've been to funerals. There's another story. But this is all part of the appearance. So what we're calling birth and what we're calling death, they're concepts. We have stories around them of what they mean, right? For Christians, we were born as souls coming into a body. We've got a purpose, right? Salvation. or whatever the religious belief is or spiritual belief of why you've incarnated and what your life is about. It's really important. It's really heavy. It's purposeful. It's meaningful. Okay. And then you die. And then what happens after death is spooky. What could be there? There's either purgatory, you got hell, you got heaven, you've got, I don't know, 100,000 virgins waiting on you. There's tons of stories. So when I say death, it's the death of what you think you know. Because what we're calling awakening and enlightenment is truly death and life, or death and life simultaneously. Like it's a merger. This is death and life. Because to truly live is to be dead already. Because the idea that you were born and will die, again, is just an idea. It's mental. Beingness is intuitive. It can appear as the mirage of becoming and, heaven and hell and religions and scriptures and all of that, but it's a story. So the only thing that can die is beliefs, thoughts, imaginations, and stories of what this is. What's left can't be defined. That's why we point to it here. There's something that sees. There is a seer that is left. It has no agenda. It's intentionless. All of this is intentionless. Intention and agenda arises out of contraction. And so all of these ideas of what we think death is, the stories of religion, all of it starts to fall away, or it loses its stickiness, starting to see more like, oh, it's like Alice in Wonderland. What is real? You see? And so, like I say, there can still be the character play of mourning. If you find out Nana's died or your cat's died or whatever the play of light is, there can be a mourning that arises here. When my cat Samara died, I can't say in time how long ago that was, but very recently, hit by a car. So there can be sadness that ripples through the body, but it's seen that it's sadness for no one. It doesn't stick because it's truly seen. No one dies because no one was born. And I know that doesn't make any practical or logical sense. And Rasha, that's why this can't be taught. It's only intuitive, but something can be tickled by this. Something can hear this, even if there's some static of doubt and buts and all of that, there can be an ocean of contentment here, despite that.
Makes sense. Can I just follow up with that really quick on how does one detach from that then?
No one can
If there's
detach because that would still be a position of what do I need to do to get closer to it? And I'm already saying, because you see what I'm saying? That's still a position going, I need to do something first. What do I need to do first, Anna? And I'm saying there's nothing you need to do. The mind, though, lives in such a position of before and after. It thinks its worth is based on doing something. Yes, but doing is going to appear. There's nothing to do until reach enlightenment because this is already enlightened. But if you're going to go to a party later or watch football or something, there's going to be a parent doing. Yeah. It arises, but already you're not choosing your words now, Rasha. So doing is going to appear, but there's nothing you need to do to bring forth enlightenment because that's a dream. That's an illusion connected to separation. Okay. Separation still appears, just like it seems like there's two voices talking here because we have so many ideas of what enlightenment and liberation is. Like, it's a drug experience. Everything's groovy and bliss out all the time. It's like, no, again, the show must go on, an appearance of two-ness, but this is wholeness appearing as two. It's ourselves speaking to ourselves.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you, Rasha. Nice to hear you. Carrie, do you have a question?
Hi.
Hi.
No, actually, it's my first time here. I was pretty sure I was going to have a question, but no, I actually don't. I just want to share something. I remember I saw a video of yours, and you've said that quite a few times that life just wants to be you, and it really stuck with me. And so this poem came to me or appeared, and I just wanted to share it, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I want to tell you a secret I've heard in a silent song. You're not broken, my love. You've done nothing wrong. You're the absolute appearing as all that is. Sometimes as anger or sadness, other times as bliss. Hear me with your heart and you'll know it's true. Life wants nothing else. Life just wants to be you. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful. Take care, Carrie.
Mhm.
Mm. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was trying to figure out a question, guys. Piece it together. I've decoded it. Let's see. Is the yes to a resonance a yes to a resonance of something, or a yes to what's happening, which can be or is always a yes to what's happening? Resonance is, you could say, how formlessness hears itself, so to speak. It's not mental, right? So a lot of the times we'll come to these types of gatherings and we're trying to hear mentally. The resonance is beingness hearing itself. It's not mental. It's just like a zing, a ding. The body lights up, so to speak. I mean, how else would intuition speak?
Yeah.
I mean, this is formlessness. So formlessness appears as a body. So if beingness is appearing as a body, it can communicate through that as well. It's not like this heavy mental chatter. It's a whoo, ah. Yeah, it's just a ding, the lights on, the bells rung, that, yeah, resonance. The mind will be like, oh, what's the resonance mean? Does this mean good? Does this bad? Does this mean I'm enlightened? It'll try to break down the what resonance is, because you see, everything is already immediate and spontaneous, like I share. What we're calling the illusion or the person comes in with commentary and tries to figure out what something means, like a sensation, like an emotion, like a resonance. Ooh, what does resonance mean? It doesn't mean anything, so to speak. The mind's trying to break it all down. It's just, hearing oneself.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That what I was thinking. The usually the resonance, or you think that it's resonance of something, and you try to concentrate. But usually it's kind of a yes to what you heard or what just happened, or usually when Zoom meeting you hear something and it was not of something, but it was a yes to, and then this thought, well, I don't know, it's happened that it's everything that's happening. It's the automatic yes to everything already.
Well, we don't have to call it a
Resonance.
yes, but like you're saying, a resonance to something. I'd rather say it's a resonance to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how nothing
Yeah,
hears itself, the emptiness, the void, the absolute mystery. Yeah. Right.
yeah.
But knowing, the appearance of knowing or static seems to come in and try to break it down, take charge of it, put it in a box. Right.
Yeah.
That's what seems to dwindle and stop arising. Yeah. The boxing, categorizing, all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like a habit. It's like a reflex. That's totality appearing as, let's figure this out. And this is saying no need to figure it out. It is what it is. Resonance is resonance. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing is saying yes.
It tickles or it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. Right. No importance. Because that's already whole. That's already fulfilled. That's already full. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Saeed. Totally. Ramon says, I like to remind myself that the past requires the present to prove its existence. Therefore, they have to be intertwined. Yeah. Past, present, future. There really isn't a present. There really isn't a now. You know, because as long as there's a now or a present moment, someone's trying to get into it. Let me get into this box now, called the present moment, called the now. Can be very confusing. There is only the now, there is only presence. And what can seem to arise in that is a person, which is presence appearing as a person, or liberation or freedom, or bliss appearing as a person, whatever you'd like to label that. So you can't get this wrong. Or right. All right, let's see. What is the difference between an awakened one dies and unawakened dies? I'm not sure if I understand the question. What is the difference between an awakened one dies and an unawakened dies? So already there's a comparison in a position of two-ness. Comparison falls. There isn't asleep and awake. That's why you can't wake up. Nobody's asleep. Awakening's a myth. Enlightenment's a myth. This is all light. But just like in the movies, light can bend and contort into suffering, into delicious hot cocoa, into kisses, into foot rubs, into hot baths, into spaghetti.
Hey, Anna.
Hi.
Hi, it's Catherine.
Hi.
Good
Look at you.
afternoon or good night. So is that Bruce in the background?
That is Bruce in the background. Yeah.
You know, Bruce was reminding me of last week when I was hearing a cricket chirping throughout what you were saying. And I remember saying that what I was trying to say before I was interrupted by my dog. You remember that?
Yes, yes.
Well, what I was trying to say is that, you know, it's the same thing. The cricket, the rooster.
Amen, sister.
You, me, whomever.
Yeah.
It's all the same, isn't it?
Well, you could say it's all the beloved, but obviously, if there's a sense of a person, it can feel like this is just real, right? Which is very serious and heaviness and stress. That's why people, all they want to talk about is their problems or their 5-year plans or their goals. When you come up against nothing, that obviously there's an apparent difference, because it's like a yield. It's like a stop. It's a where are you going kind of a thing. But all is the beloved, all is beingness, of course. But within the parent play of light and form, there's going to be differences. If someone feels like a person that this is real, there can be a suffering, lots of pushing and striving, you know, because there's the intense separation, which comes out of I need, you know, divide and conquer, all of that type of stuff, so to speak. So there can be an apparent difference, but underlining, it's all beingness. It's all unconditional love.
Got that right, girl. Thank you.
Yeah. All of it is. Yeah. Cute little birds. Little parakeets. Yeah.
I've got a few. Yep. Yeah.
They're cute.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love your glasses, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
Anna?
Yeah.
This is Katie. There was a question before Ramon's comment from Grace.
Thank you. Oh, beautiful. Excuse me. Hi, Anna. Thank you for being. If suffering seemingly falls away, when the mind seemingly falls away, wouldn't the suffering of the body seemingly fall away because illness and disease or any physical ailment is caused by a belief? that is believed by the mind. Example, you get sick from a moldy cookie, but the sickness is occurring because you are told mold is bad for your body. Therefore, your mind is creating the illness. Not saying that pain would not arise. This is more pointing to seemingly exaggeration of pain, aka suffering. Happy to elaborate if needed. With gratitude, Grace. Suffering can appear, no one suffers. Because you're assuming the mind's real and the mind chooses. The mind didn't choose to eat the moldy cookie. Beingness appeared as that. Same with cancer, COVID, breaking a leg. It's all unconditional love. Sure, we can go into the story and say some diseases are mentally generated, right? Someone feels unworthy their whole life. Someone has so much hatred of themselves or others, it can seem to and create stress-based diseases. So the story goes. Okay. But Ram Dass, right? He had a stroke. Wasn't it a stroke? I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, peeps. Stroke, anything can arise. Cancer, anything can appear in the body vehicle. But there's no one there going, oh, I did that because I had a thought or an imagination about it. Because that would all stem from free will and choice, where guilt, shame, blame, and victimhood arise. Okay, trees get disease. There's no one in the tree. Animals get disease. There's no one in the animal. So there's nothing wrong with the question, but it assumes there's free will and choice. And it's also another way for categorization of right and wrong. Like the mind caused this. Well, in fact, nothing caused anything because nothing's here and nothing's actually happening. Just like a dream. But in spirituality, you create your diseases. Totally. And then there can be the dream experience of separation, of going to workshops and all kinds of stuff where maybe one seemingly shifts a disease. Aha, reward, reward, reward. That has nothing to do with what we're speaking about here. All stuff seeming to happen, consciousness phenomenon arising. But within the play, those stories will arise. Like your thoughts create your reality. You did this to yourself based on like suppression of the feminine or whatever kind of, there's tons of stories that will go for why you have a disease. The tree doesn't blame anything. The tree doesn't have a story for why disease is arising. Disease is just arising, just like the wind, just like the thirst or hunger. It's spontaneous. So that can arise here as well. Anything, cancer, anything can appear here. There won't be a personal relationship. There's no story, there's no victimization around it of what caused this, because there is no cause and effect. That only arises in the dream of time. And that's why it's so heavy, because there's tons of blame and guilt and shame and stories around it, which too is unconditional love. But I gotta say, for an example, going back to the cat Samara, when he was hit by a car and his bone was out of his leg, there was apparent suffering going on there, but there was no personal suffering. There is no I in a cat. There is no separation, but there was pain and appearance of suffering. So it really depends on how you're labeling suffering. But yes, you could say mental stories of suffering do fall away, but there can be physical suffering, totally. But no one's suffering. Again, that doesn't make sense. We're just talking about the end of commentary and of stories around, let's say, the sensation of pain or suffering, okay? Which would be the dropping of the mental, which can seem to ease things. But I mean, if your leg's chopped off, you just got hit by a car, so to speak, there's going to be pain. There could be wailing, there could be screaming, which from an apparent outsider would call that suffering. Morris, sorry, that was a direct message. Please excuse me. Nothing has ever happened. Please elaborate on this. Just like a dream. Did your dream happen last night? This is equal to it. Only something is happening to the mind. It's the reporter. It's the agent. This is not logical. It doesn't make any sense to what you're calling your brain. Your brain is cut into 2 hemispheres. It's only going to operate in day and night, black and white, yesterday, today. Question and answer. Awakening's the end of the questioner, folks. And there's nothing wrong with questions. There's not, because that's the beloved appearing as a question. But they're just bubbles. They all dissolve. And this is how see, as long as you think time is real, the whole world appears. And things really happening or appearing. Nothing is really happening. That's what we're trying to say here. It seems to be. It seems to be. Like a nightmare at night, like a dream experience at night. Seems to be. Real, unreal. Form is formless. Infinity appearing finite. Not logical, not practical. That's why this can't be taught. Because the one who wants to be taught this is the illusion of time. All right, this will be my last question for today, folks. Julio. Dear Anna, do you feel that every single soul is unique? The soul arises in the dream of separation. It's religious, it's spiritual. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a story. Like every snowflake. Or are there no single souls? I feel this knowing that I will always stay myself and everyone else themselves forever. What is that? The difference? What is that differentiates each soul? Sorry, I did not do very good at reading that. I feel this knowing that I will always stay myself and everyone else themselves forever. What is that differentiates the soul? There isn't a soul. Soul is rooted in religion and spirituality of you incarnating into a body. What we're literally saying is this is it. I'd rather remove the you from soul and have it be SOL, meaning sun or just light. Otherwise, soul, I first heard that in Catholicism. So soul is really me going, my higher self. A fancier divine me is the soul, which denotes human, denotes earth. This message is earthy. This message is sexy. It's juicy. It's fresh. It's this. There is no soul. That's a story. This is the beloved appearing. This is it. The mind won't like that, though. Hence why it loves the merry-go-round. Everything we think we know has been spoon-fed to us, which is all part of the play, all part of the game of light. It's not wrong, but just to see that it was all BS. So my friends, it's been a joy to sit with you. I thank you. And before I do forget, next Sunday is an off weekend for the whole community. There will be an hour-long Sangha for the $11 and up tiers, but we'll reunite. I will post when we will reunite, the exact date when I post this link, okay? Because I don't have a calendar or anything around me. So once I share this link, I'll share when the whole community Sangha will be back up and running again, okay? But I thank you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
care.
much, Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.